excited for this space. So the partner of today is Invest Hong Kong, and it's coming together with our dear Isaac in Hong Kong as well. So shout out to Isaac in Hong Kong. So just a brief intro. So Invest Hong Kong's vision is to strengthen Hong Kong's status as a leading international business location in Asia. And their mission is to attract and retain foreign direct investment, strategic importance to the entrepreneurship and innovation. We are very delighted to have Ms. Jane Chan, the head of Start Me Up Hong Kong at Invest Hong Kong, deliver this keynote address for us. So for the 17 minutes, we will have them with us. They're also here in this room. So I will be sharing my screen, and give me a moment. Let me know if you can hear the audio.
Hi. My name is Jane Chan, and I want to thank Isaac for actually inviting Invest Hong Kong. It's a real privilege to be here. I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about entrepreneurship and startup ecosystems. And if you're thinking business, a startup, I think you should really seriously think about potentially leveraging Hong Kong to actually do so. Before I actually jump into the actual presentation, I just want to say that
it's lagging just a moment.
I think where you folks are at this moment in time, there has never been a better. Hi, my name is Jane Chan, and I want to thank Isaac for actually inviting Invest Hong Kong to speak at your event today. It's a real privilege to be here. I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about entrepreneurship and startup ecosystems. And if you're thinking about starting up a business, a startup, I think you should really seriously think about potentially leveraging Hong Kong to actually do so. Before I actually jump into the actual presentation, I just want to say that it's, I think where you folks are at this moment in time, there has never been a better time to actually get into entrepreneurships, to found your own startups. There's more resources than ever before. Your universities most likely actually have different types of support, IP commercialization units, and business plan competitions and entrepreneurship courses to actually guide you. And as we can see later on, those kind of early companies that have been nurtured at universities have actually got the potential to become something much bigger and much more successful. And I'll tell you about some of the examples further down. So as I mentioned, I head up the Start Me Up HK division at Invest Hong Kong. Invest Hong Kong is actually a government department helping overseas companies to establish here in the city. Now, the Start Me Up team has three main missions. One is actually to help overseas companies, startups, investors, corporate innovation labs, all these different stakeholders of the startup ecosystem to actually establish their presence here in the city. The second objective of our team is actually to help to promote Hong Kong internationally as a tech hub. So, prior to travel restrictions, we used to visit a lot of different events around the world. We met with different groups of people, and we informed them of the latest kind of developments happening and the business opportunities that exist in the city for startups, whether you're in fintech, whether you're in smart city, property tech, even art tech, actually. So that was part of our role. And our final role is actually to help and build the ecosystem here in Hong Kong. What that means is that we try and support the ecosystem here. We meet with universities to develop talent. We talk to the policy making departments to make sure that policies are developed that really enhance the ecosystem or support the founders here in Hong Kong. And every year we actually create what's called the Start Me Up Hong Kong Festival, which I really invite you to attend next year, which is a week-long series of events focused on innovation, startups, and all the opportunities that entails. So let's get back to actually Hong Kong. What makes Hong Kong very special for startups? Well, if you actually look at the actual statistics, Hong Kong actually has a very vibrant startup ecosystem, and we've been tracking this for the past few years. You can actually see the results of this year's study, which actually just completed about a month ago, and we just released these results. For 2021, despite the pandemic, we've seen a substantial increase in the number of startups to just over 3,700, and that's an increase of 12%. So, you know, even despite all the challenges that are happening economically, you know, for Hong Kong, for other kind of countries, the fact that we're seeing this kind of growth means that, you know, that opportunity does exist here. You know, startups won't be creating new companies if there wasn't that particular business opportunity. And the number of people that they're also hiring is increasing as well. So for the companies that have, you know, managed to get through the pandemic and are still going through that pandemic, you know, they're actually increasing their hires to become bigger companies. One of the areas that we are very proud of here in Hong Kong, and I think one of the differentiating factors between Hong Kong and other cities, is the fact that our startup ecosystem is incredibly diverse and international. About 20-odd percent, 28% of our founders are from outside of Hong Kong, and you'll see the top countries of origin here. The majority from mainland China. We've got people from the States, the UK, France, India, Singapore. All those places are the top 6 locations of countries of origin for our founders. And I'm a big believer, actually, that this international perspective, coupled with Hong Kong's talent, you know, with their language capabilities, with their kind of internationally minded outlook, actually creates for much stronger startups and companies. So what industries are those startups working in? Unsurprisingly, fintech is top of the chain for Hong Kong. And I say this because Hong Kong is one of the world's financial centers. So correspondingly, we attract a lot of people who are trying to resolve problems for these financial institutions and these financial functions as well. So that area is growing and is the most prevalent industry that our startups are working in. You know, e-commerce, supply chain, logistics, that's also another area, unsurprisingly, that has also grown, especially in the context of the pandemic, where we've seen people's habits with regards to shopping and actually just living in general has changed substantially. And some of those areas that are benefiting are in the e-commerce space, and related to that, the supply chain management and logistics technology space as well. We've also got a lot of people doing professional consultancy services by leveraging tech. So for example, your legal techs and some of your enterprise softwares are also very popular. And these 3 categories actually make up the top 3 sectors within the startup community that are most popular. So Hong Kong, why Hong Kong? Well, we do really have all the ingredients, and you can see them here. We've got the market opportunities. Of course, we've got Hong Kong itself, which is a very mature market of 7.4 million people, very tech savvy, very smart people, and it's a great location to actually trial your products and services that you're setting up within a small, sophisticated community. But through Hong Kong, there's other kind of markets as well, and I'll touch on a little bit about that in the next slide. But in addition to those market opportunities, we've got incredible talent here. You know, some of our universities are ranked incredibly high within the QS International World Rankings, and that's reflected when you talk to industry people here, when you talk to different professions, they always talk about Hong Kong's talent. And I think part of this has evolved through Hong Kong's, you know, previous role as like a trading hub, and then as a financial center. It actually attracts a lot of very smart people, and it develops a very international and sophisticated mindset within the graduates that actually come out of our universities. great products and services. Of course, we rely on you folks to actually come up with these fantastic products and services. And also the risk mitigation. It's a good, safe location to do things. We are internationally recognized. We've got the rule of law. We've got incredible IP protection. All of these actually make for very strong case for businesses to base their an office here in Hong Kong. We've also got a variety of funding that really helps to support the startups from the very early stage of their life cycle right through to their exit. So for example, we've got public funding available from the government and from the public science parks. We've also got seed and angel investment, VCs, family offices that pick up the Series A, B, C kind of stage. And then later on, we've got the private equity that will pick up the later kind of stage and pre-IPOs. And then, of course, you've got the IPOs themselves as well. So, that whole kind of fundraising value chain is actually available here in Hong Kong. So, Hong Kong, some of the reasons I've listed here, we've got a number of accelerators, incubators, co-work spaces to actually support and nurture that generation of founders. We've got a very strong talent pipeline, as I mentioned before. We've got 5 universities in the world's top 100 QS World University rankings. It's no mean feat, and I actually don't know of any other location, a city with so many universities in a top 100 listed in the QS rankings. On the funding side, I mentioned very briefly before, but there's a lot of support from government. There's also the VC and the PE firms, and of course the stock exchange, the market accessibility, as well as those supportive government policies, in addition to the funding that the government here has launched to really try and remove some of those barriers to actually encourage founders to actually create these new companies, these innovative companies, and to take it internationally through Hong Kong. So I mentioned the opportunities in terms of market growth. So Hong Kong, obviously, as I mentioned, is that small test market. But as soon as you extend outside of Hong Kong to the Greater Bay Area, and if you haven't heard of this, this is a combination of 9 cities in southern China, plus the special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau, collectively being branded as the Greater Bay Area. Includes cities like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, as well as Hong Kong and Macau. And collectively, it's an area of 70 million people. So that market opportunity just across the border is absolutely immense. And now we've got the kind of hard infrastructure like the fast rail to actually tap into directly from Hong Kong, where you can actually reach Shenzhen in 14 minutes. That's 14 minutes. It actually makes all these different kind of cities within the mainland China to be incredibly accessible. Plus, you've got the people in the big tech giants within Shenzhen that have also created a cluster effect of entrepreneurs, founders, and innovation and technology that is really, really vibrant. And you can be in Hong Kong and take part in all of that. And of course, from extension for GBA right through to the rest of the mainland China, and then through our free trade agreements through to other countries within ASEAN as well. So, Hong Kong, if you're a business, it's really good because business are always looking for peace of mind. You want something that's predictable, that's protected, and you can visualize how things are going to go in the future. So we have that. We have a common law system, which is something in relation to a lot of Commonwealth countries, and it's also a place where potentially founders from overseas feel very comfortable and familiar with. We also have got the rule of law. We've got independent judiciary. The IP environment here is very strong, and we have some world-class regulators actually working here to make sure the markets remain stable and things work along predictably, excuse me, and efficiently as well. Funding side. Funding side, I mentioned the fact that we've got the whole value chain of investors along that whole life cycle of a startup. And, I touched on this a little bit earlier. Here, I've just listed some more details about what these different stages encompass where Hong Kong is concerned. So on the public side, we have the science parks, we've got the government grants, we've got the VC matching fund and loan guarantee scheme that the government and public funding supports. On the seed and angel, so if you're looking just to start out, you've got the high net worth individuals who are acting as angel investors. There's also the public programs as well, the public incubator programs. There's university funds oftentimes to try and nurture their own students into entrepreneurship. And there's also angel associations and syndication groups that provide funding in this area. On the VC side, we've got, in addition to the actual venture capitalists themselves, we've got family offices and corporate ventures, but we've also got a licensed equity crowdfunding platform here of professional investors that you can potentially tap into. The PE side, the private equity, we've got a lot of investors here in this kind of space. And you've also got people taking on strategic investments, usually from the corporate perspective. You've got high net worth individuals who are also taking up this space. And of course, family offices are also getting involved in later stage companies as well. In terms of exits then, if you're looking to potentially list on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, you'd be in good company. Hong Kong has ranked #1 for 7 of the last 12 years that it's been assessed in some international publications and very well-respected organizations. So we are very strong in terms of raising funds through the stock exchange. In fact, in 2020, the funds raised was $51 billion US. That's a huge amount. And if you're a startup and you're looking into SPACs, that's also under discussion as well. And of course, there are opportunities to go to the mergers and acquisitions side as a potential exit option too. Talent attraction. So Invest Hong Kong actually provides a different types of support actually to attract the right talents to Hong Kong, including giving advice in terms of how to settle here, visa application support, even to career opportunities or talent matching to potential jobs out there. If you want to find out more about this, we do have a website. You can actually scan the QR code that's listed here, or you can actually just go to the website and check more information on the kind of support that Invest Hong Kong can provide you if you're looking to potentially work here in Hong Kong. We've got some areas that are in particular high demand, and innovation and technology and fintech and e-commerce are some of those areas. So we're hoping, once you actually come to Hong Kong, when you're ready to scale, you would find a lot of successes similar to what these companies have done. So this is Hong Kong's Unicorn Club. Some great companies here that really vary industry-wise, from fintech to AI, tech, as well as gaming and NFTs as well, with Animoca Brands becoming just the most recent addition to our fintech, to our unicorn stable. So in terms of how Invest Hong Kong can help you, if you are interested in Hong Kong, you founded your company and you've got so many amazing talent in Isaac. I had an intern from Isaac, and he was probably one of the best interns I had. Really smart. And so, if you create that magic, fantastic company and you're looking to potentially scale, do look at Hong Kong as a potential location for that. Some of those unicorns you actually saw before actually came from university developments as well. So, come and reach out to us. We can help you with planning, setup, launching. And as I mentioned, some priority sectors for us is in the innovation, startup, scale-up side as well. So please reach out, and I wish you the best of luck, and I'm looking forward to learning more about your successes going forward as well, and we hope to see you in Hong Kong soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Invest Hong Kong. We have their team here with us as well. We look forward to having them also with us at the Regional Functional Summit, and also the upcoming regional event that we have coming up in 2 weeks from now. So thank you so much everyone for joining. And actually, just a backstory as well. So Invest Hong Kong is currently a partner of ISEC in Hong Kong, and we are currently exploring to also engage them more in our regional initiatives. So looking forward to seeing this partnership grow as well. The time is has passed for the duration of the keynote, so we will move on to the next part of the agenda, which is a break. Is it, Tony?